Welcome back to The Short Game. This is a show about short video games, games that respect your time. I am Reagan Kelly, and I'm joined this week, once again, by two fantastic co-hosts.
Laura Nash.
And Shane Kelly.
And this week we are returning to talk more about Expelled. So a couple of weeks ago, we did an episode about Inkle's latest brilliant masterpiece game, Expelled. Sequel/connected game to our Game of the Year award-winning Overboard. And with that, we kind of decided, because we were releasing it right on the day of the game release, and we hadn't had a ton of time with the game at that point, we decided we were going to break things up and do both an episode, just sort of spoiler-free discussion of the game, which is what we did in that previous episode. Go back and check that out if you missed it. And a more spoiler-dense episode diving into some of the surprises that happen towards the middle and maybe end game of the game. So we've each played some more of the game. We've taken a few notes. We are going to have a non-exhaustive discussion here. This is not going to be like a tell-all, every secret is revealed type of discussion. I don't think we're quite able to do that yet, but we do have more to talk about with Expelled.
It feels like a much bigger, deeper game than the previous iteration. It has more characters, a lot more going on, and it would take us maybe 2 or 3 more episodes, I think, to fully plumb the depths of every possible ending or twist.
And by the time we got to the end of that episode, we would just be completely spouting nonsense. So there is no good guide out there yet. There might be one any minute, given this type of game. But we're going to just kind of talk about big plot points at the beginning, troubleshoot with each other, and then talk about some loose ends. Keeping it so that the heaviest spoilers and go do this happen later in the episode, but we did want to talk about the big plot points because, as the content warning suggests, there's a lot of cool stuff hidden in this game.
Laura, you point out there is no guide. That is the fun part of doing this podcast with new release games, is that we're often trying to, we say, hey, play these games that you can finish in a long weekend and, wrap up. And now I feel the pressure to get to every part of this game. And I have put more time into this game than I have many of the typical short things that we cover. And I know that there's huge gaps in my understanding of the different intricate interlocking puzzle pieces that you can fit together in this.
This continues to be just an absolutely incredible puzzle box narrative, though. We talked about this all over the place in the original episode about this game, but this game is just so it's bigger than Overboard. It's incredibly intricate, and just there's a lot to keep you coming back to it. So while it is a short game, and I 100% sign off on this being in short game territory, I do think I'm probably going to be keep on poking at this for probably another, I don't know, month or two. We'll see.
It is a short but very wide game.
Yes.
And I'll say that I played myself as long as I possibly could with looking at nothing on the internet. But then as the recording deadline for this spoilers episode happened, I started spelunking in the Expelled spoilers channel on the Inkle Discord, which is a lot of clicking on spoiler tags. So there are a couple things that people hinted at that I've never tried that I'll say, I didn't try this, but someone has, or this is a thing someone's had to explore. But I think the game is mostly best experienced with light hinting and clicking around, because I think you can just completely miss paths. For example, there is a choice whether or not to keep someone awake during the game or not. And the first time I played, I knocked that person out. And so I just didn't know there were a character in the game I could play for 5 hours. So like you could just completely shut pass in this game. So listen to this if you've played a little bit, if you want places to be pointed to, because you can just completely never try a room or never talk to a person or never know that there's a door to open. So I wouldn't be afraid of listening to this episode if you haven't finished the game, but we'll be hinting at stuff that you might not have seen yet.
Yeah, and maybe if you have played the game, you're going to be yelling into your phone as you listen to this. What? You mean you didn't
you're going to
find
be yelling
the
at us.
such and such? Yeah, that's fine. We accept that. We're doing our best. But, if you have hints for us or suggestions for paths we haven't taken, we would love to hear those. Our Discord is the best place for that, but get in touch with us however you'd like.
So that was a personal message for John Ingold, by the way, if you have some hints for us.
Please, sir. So how do we want to structure this? I was thinking it might be good for us to start by just talking broadly about some of the big surprises and plot stuff that we discovered that we were dancing around or not talking about on the last episode.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say that the first huge surprise, the biggest surprise, is you're set up from the very beginning of this game to say, how do I get out of being blamed for this crime I didn't commit? She threw herself out the window. No, as soon as we talked in the last episode about that evil meter that ticks up from, pure innocence to naughtiness to despicableness. As it turns out, I think once you hit a certain point on that, you're finally ready to confront the real story, which is you did throw her out of the window. Mm-hmm.
But she deserved it. I don't think it's based on the evil meter. I'm trying to remember exactly what plot trigger it is. It's once you get away with it for the first time.
Yes, that was it. Yes. So as soon as
that triggers it, and then you get a whole scene where you're talking to your dad in the pub, and
he's like, "Come on, girl."
Yeah, come on, girl. And so you get that wonderful scene where you realize, oh, actually, you're not an innocent. You're lying. You're lying to everyone. You did do it, and you're much worse of a child. But I believe it's also right about there that we get a reveal that's hinted at earlier on, because your character has several of the girls in the school don't refer to her by her Christian name. They call her Ronnie. And it's like, why? Why are these characters calling her Ronnie as a nickname? And Verity is obviously that's her real name, but it turns out that is not her chosen name. She is, in fact, Veronica. And when you learn this, you literally hear a laugh that is oh, that's Veronica Valenci from Overboard. It's oh, of course, this is taking place in the 20s. That took place 15 years later. It's so great that they hid this through the entire marketing of the game that
Expelled, an Overboard game. Yeah.
I know.
It's literally in the title.
And I did not see it coming. Even though the character models look similar, same goddamn voice actress. And somehow I didn't put it together until I've been playing this game for hours. I was like, oh,
that's
shit.
So fun.
This is Veronica. And it's this is an actual, honest to goodness prequel.
Overboard
to
Origins.
Overboard. They should have, oh my God, please don't call it Overboard Origins. But that's so good.
Yes.
I loved it. I loved that was a secret that they kept and that it revealed so beautifully. I loved that. And so we learn, of course, that Veronica, or soon to be Verity / Veronica, really did do it. This is her villain origin story. We see her first halting attempts at murder.
What I really like about that twist? I don't want to move off of it too fast. What I really like about that is how it eases you into villainy, because it's one thing to have a game that starts off with a woman murdering her husband, but it's another thing to have a game that starts off with a child murdering another child. And the fact that they kind of come at you a little bit slow with that, and you get to know some of the characters. You get to know Veronica or Verity. You and you get to know some of the reasons that she might have, in order to kind of sort of ease you into this situation where it's like, oh, you know what? Maybe I am willing to try a run in this where I murder all the children or something like that. You know.
The knockout where you knock 8 people out is one of the achievements they added after release. Just knock out eight people. I don't think
I only ever managed to knock out.
No, you
4
don't kill
people.
it.
Yeah, it never
violence though.
I need some tips on how to get them all.
As far as I could tell, there's no actual honest to goodness murder in this game. Now, again, listeners, if you've managed to commit a real bloody murder in this, let me know. I want to find out how. But I only ever got to knock people on the head with a heavy book or such, and they're asleep for the rest of the game. So what else did we discover that's worth talking about? The big one I thought was Luisa's pregnancy. And the various, we learn a little bit about why Veronica would want to push Luisa out a window, but there's a lot more. Every one of these characters has a lot going on, and Luisa is pregnant, and we can learn that the pregnancy is the father is the gardener. What's his name?
Will.
Will, thank you.
Will Gardner.
Yeah.
Oh, great name. Yeah.
Who is portrayed as a bit of a handsome fellow. I think there's several scenes in which various schoolgirls go on about his appearance. So, and yes. I think the there's reveal within reveal there, because there's the pregnancy, there's the reveal of who the father is. There's related reveals around Fifi and her involvement, or kind of trying to play the situation. There's reveals around Will's actual age. There's a lot of different little pieces to it.
Yeah. Oh, and before someone adds me, I do not remember if I think of him as Will Gardner because that's the name of a character on The Good Wife, or if that's actually his name. Just wanted to clarify, if his name is not Will Gardner, I am substituting from a TV show.
Okay.
But Will the Gardener, that's why I always remember the name.
He is in fact the gardener, so we're good there. He is
in fact the gardener.
Yeah, you can get a lot out of him by pressing him about the pregnancy, and he was the first person I figured out how to get to stand up for me at the prize giving. Very important, because if you want to get away with it, you need to be able to, you need a patsy, or you need an alternate story, and you need to have several people willing to stand up for you at the prize giving at the end of the day.
Yep.
And Will was the first one that I figured out. And all you really need to do is confront him about his child, and then if you're trying to point the finger at Fifi, you can tell him your concocted story that Fifi encouraged Luisa to jump because she was jealous, or that she was trying to get rid of the baby, or some other.
You wanted to be prefect.
Yeah, there's a couple of different things that you can kind of come up with there, but he's pretty easy to win over to your side because he feels real bad that his baby mama has fallen out of the window, and etc.
The only way I ever got him to for sure stand up was for saying I was going to tell on him.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
But I tried many ways. I feel like I talked to Will quite a few times with different tactics, trying to get him to organically agree to frame Fifi. But eventually, he always was like, he caved the second I said I would tell on him to the owl.
Mm-hmm. What else do we learn? What else? What other interesting stuff did we learn sort of in the mid area of the game?
Some weird revelations about the owl, since she's been mentioned.
Oh,
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the owl, despite being the headmistress of a former convent turned religious school or Catholic school, is in fact an atheist with a demonic owl in her office.
Okay,
Maybe
we need to talk about those two things separately, but which do we want to hit first?
Okay.
Atheist first.
Yeah.
I think that's the lighter of the reveals.
And she has the what do you call him? Chaplain? Like hidden.
Yes.
Okay. That was how I discovered about her atheism. So
Okay.
I don't know if there's a different path to that, but underneath the school. So early on in chapel, Nat will point out to you that one of the tapestries is moving and she thinks there are rats. And if you take the time to go and investigate, you find that it opens up into a set of catacombs that stretches underneath the entire school. An old school labyrinth of the,
Zork is down there,
vein. Yeah.
A maze of twisting passages, all alike.
And it's very hard to navigate. I was reminded a lot of Inkle's previous game, the one they did for Google, the what is it, Labyrinth?
Forgotten, forbidden, starts with an F.
That one, yeah. But this is just a navigation puzzle, and you have to figure it out. There's a couple different ways to do it. You can ask for advice, and you can learn that, and this is, just basic maze solving. If you really put your mind to it, you can just do the thing where you follow one wall of the labyrinth around until you eventually cover the entire area. So you can do that. That was the first thing I did, but a much faster thing to do is to go and borrow yarn from the geometry teacher and then use that as a way to get out, because I was able to get in pretty easily, find my way in and find the chaplain, but getting back out is very tricky, and you end up having to you do this whole thing where you panic and hyperventilate.
That's my favorite. That's you have the I want to get out of this maze panic button, in which you actually panic and kind of go nuts and kind of claw
and
at
spend
the walls.
most of the rest of the day just clawing at the walls trying to figure your way out. If you need to do it quickly, you need a plan. You need to go in with some yarn. But yeah, way down in the depths, the chaplain for the school, everyone thought the school had no chaplain, but in fact there is a chaplain. He just lives like a rat.
You legally must have one. That's why there's a chaplain.
But they treat him like absolute
funding.
dirt in the dungeon, and he's never allowed to come out, and no one has seen him in years. And you can have a whole
Looking like
conversation
Gollum
with him.
down there.
Yeah. He's real creepy too. He drugged the tea and tried to, I believe, sexually assault me.
Yep.
Didn't get that.
If you drink the tea, bad things happen. Okay. You learn some secrets by drinking the tea, aka you learn why the chaplain maybe shouldn't be teaching at a school for girls.
Maybe it seems like the owl is right on this one.
Yeah.
But you can also learn that the owl is an atheist, and that is why she sticks, one of the reasons perhaps why she sticks the chaplain in the basement, never to be seen again. But also you get a little bit of her backstory. She was a missionary in Africa. She obviously saw some stuff. She's got perhaps reasons to have a bit of a lack of faith. But everyone regards being an atheist as a huge scandal because, of course, she's responsible for the religious education of all these girls in a religious boarding school. So, big scandal. I haven't yet figured out how to really put the screws to her about this fact. This seems like the cornerstone of how to really manipulate the owl, and I haven't figured it out yet. Have any of you guys actually managed to do anything really really manipulate her that way?
No, I haven't. She's probably one of the hardest characters because almost all of the situations where you are face to face with her are kind of critical moments where you can be expelled. So
yeah,
it can be
avoiding
very hard
her is
to
the easy
build that
way
into
through
your
the game.
run. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I assume that's required to get the final check mark, which is become head girl. I have not managed that yet.
I also have not become head girl.
Yeah. And I know I think that's sort of the end game achievement. In fact, you get that end of each run, you get that little checklist, and the things are get past, you have to complete the chapel. That's the initial chapel meeting at the beginning of the day. Get through the whole day, which means fingering someone else or getting, shifting blame. The next one is having no enemies left or no competitors or whatever, how it's phrased. No rivals. And then the final one is become head girl. And I'm pretty sure I did get the no rivals one, but I'm actually not totally sure what the conditions for that were. Did you get that one, Laura?
You have to get rid of Fifi.
That's it.
You have to not only blame Fifi, but get rid of Fifi. And just like some other random girl becomes head girl.
That's it. That's what happened
which I
for me.
did get that ending. I believe to actually become head girl, jump ahead 30 seconds if you don't want to know, is you have to be perfectly good and then go through the day. Get through the day.
Perfectly good, as in you have to fix your rating?
You have to reset to 0 and then complete the day
interesting.
Innocently.
How do you know how to reset to 0
I believe
yet?
that I haven't done this yet, so that's just my understanding from the hints on the forum is that an innocent run is how you can become head girl, and you might have to do a number of things before that to set that up.
I'm not sure how to do an innocent run, honestly. That's interesting.
I don't know
Especially
either.
considering that your evil meter persists from run to run. I mean, you can lower it by going to class and doing your Latin homework or what have you. But
I'll talk about this at the end for people who really. But if you stick around, I do know how to reset the evil meter.
Great. Okay.
I found it accidentally and then was like, oh no, I had worked so long building it up and then I reset it to 0 and was like, well, shoot, I have a lot of work to do now.
you get a lot of
getting this
toes
back
to
up.
step on and people to cuss out.
I know.
I have maxed mine out at 666, which I think is great. So I am, I've been at 666 for a while now. So
When I found out
eager
about
to
that,
hear
I
about
laughed because I had it capped at 100 and I thought, oh, well, okay, progress achieved.
Nope. So Laura, like you have on the notes here about the black dolphin, and
Yes.
I did get hauled away in the middle of the night, and I did find some.
Oh, you didn't know what that was?
I kind of knew what it was. I
Okay.
didn't know. I
I-
had seen the sheets of paper in the catacombs at that point, and that's all I'd seen. I didn't know.
Oh.
I
anything
had
else
that
about it.
same thing happen. And that was my first run where I actually completed the day. I got hauled off by people in dolphin masks, which was another thing where I was like, oh, this is definitely connected to Overboard.
Overboard.
Because I don't know if you guys remember how weird the dolphin endings were for Overboard.
Whoa, I didn't
yeah.
put that together. Oh, you're right. Oh, yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. Dolphins are weird in this world.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
So-
dolphins remain a ominous force in the life of Veronica throughout.
Yes.
Laura, please
So-
explain this to me because I don't have the context.
In the cellar, you can get a book with a black drawing of a dolphin in it. It's a school book with a dolphin that's been colored in black. And you can take this page. And if you show that to Miss Lemon, your Latin teacher, she will, and then you can force her to talk about it. She'll be like, who gave this to you? Where's this from? And if you keep asking enough questions, she'll eventually go into a full sepia-toned history of the school and the black dolphin lore. The short version of which I'll say now, which is that they would rich girls would give the black dolphin as a we're gonna get you. Like it was almost like getting a death note.
I assumed it was like the black spot of pirate
Yeah.
lore. Yeah.
But it's the black spot, but for girls in the school. And it's like, we're all going to get you. And then it would involve being buried alive.
Yes. Yeah. I got the ending
And
where I got.
there was a girl who was bricked up, apparently.
Oh,
So
that
that's-
must be the bricks in the. Ooh, gross.
So that is what I believe the bricks in the thing are. So a
haven't figured that out
girl
yet.
was hiding in a chimney from was trying to hide from the black dolphin thing, and they bricked her up in the wall.
Dark.
And that is after that they were like, you can't do black dolphins anymore because you murdered somebody. So Miss Lemon is that's actually how I always got Miss Lemon on my side, is I was able to be like, they gave me the black dolphin, and I think they killed I use those usually as part of the same plot to get her on my side. But yeah, the Black Dolphin is serious. So when I got the Black Dolphin, I was like, I fully knew what they were doing to me. And I was like, oh no, they're bringing back the Black Dolphin. This must be because I got the lore. So I love that you both experienced that without the explanation.
Yeah, it was just a straight...
I got the same story from Miss Lemon, but I don't know if it's how I missed it. I missed the breaking up in the basement.
They might have been two different stories, but I got both of those at different times maybe. But they're both tied to the Black Dolphin.
I didn't get any of that. I don't honestly remember now exactly what I did to prompt getting dolphined. It was pretty early in my playthroughs. But it didn't...
I think I had a name, and that's how I got the Brickwall Girl.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I don't exactly remember what happened. I think it might have... I wish I remembered. I don't. But I do remember that it was very funny. Like she's like weeping to her dad afterwards. They made me dig my own grave. And I was like, that was great. Okay, moving on. I want to experiment more with that and see if I can figure out how to incorporate that. The other thing that's like, there's a lot of like the Overboard world has a lot of like weird mystical stuff in it that I think is like slightly around the edges. And the first sign of that, I saw a couple of things in this game that like implied like, you know, there's like you could talk to God in the first Overboard. I don't know how. I mean, now that we know it's the same Veronica,
you can do that in this one.
She's just crazy.
She's a little touched.
We're just, yeah. And it's been that way since she was a child, apparently. But like the breaking into the owl's office and tearing down her taxidermied owl and finding, I believe, cocaine inside, and then eating it and having a trip where the evil spirit of the owl tells you what to do. Great stuff. But I didn't ever really like I was hoping that it would like tell me to go do something and then I would go do it and it would be, I don't know. I didn't go very far with that. Did you guys have any like further interactions with the owl other than it just being a creepy thing you can go and talk to?
No, that's something I was really trying to figure out some of the more relevant story elements. And I figured I would come back to that one later, and I haven't gotten back to him.
My very first interaction with the owl, I reset my evil meter, so I was like, let's stay away for a little bit.
Oh, so that's how you did it. Okay.
Did you just like reject the owl's...
I'm not. I will.
We'll talk at the end. Yeah,
we'll talk at the end, just because I think that's like one of the bigger spoilers.
Interesting.
But,
okay. But I
had to do a lot before that.
You get a lot of evil. If you're trying to max out your evil points, you can just go and accept the owl as your lord and savior, and that is a good way to increase that evil meter very quickly.
I mean, yeah. If I just want to jump back to where I was, I think that would be a good idea.
You could do it maybe a couple times. You'd be right up there. But there's other mystical stuff happening in the school. You can go and talk to the statue of Nun Jenny in the quad, and it talks back.
I think is a Fallen London reference.
You think so?
I think.
Tell me how.
Sinning Jenny is a missionary in Fallen London, and she's normally depicted as a nun who runs the Parlor of Virtue, which is a brothel. So Sinning Jenny is a nun brothel runner who runs a school for girls, like an etiquette school in Fallen London. So, and a brothel. So I think Sinning Jenny, the hottest character in all of Fallen London, is a nun. So I assumed Nun Jenny was a reference.
Could be, very well.
I know we're going to talk about like some of the loose ends, and I missed huge chunks of this. But the nun statue, you can put various different objects in her hands. Did that become relevant in any of your playthroughs?
I put stuff in that statue's hands every run, and nothing ever happened.
Okay.
I'm sure there's something there.
Yeah, me too. So yeah, Nun Jenny, the pregnant nun, we get a little bit of backstory about her because this school used to be a convent, and the belief is, maybe Nun Jenny was scamming, that the light through the beautiful ancient window in the library,
Rose window,
the rose window, gave nun Jenny her child. It was an immaculate conception.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jesus, for coming through the rose window and etc. And that comes up a few times. One of the funnier bits of that is like you can convince Lemon that that Louisa thought that her baby was a gift to her from God because of the power of the rose window to put babies in people. And she says something very funny in that scene where she's like, they're not preparing you girls. We give soldiers helmets. And it's like,
and implied that like maybe she thought breaking the window would
that breaking the window would
baby.
abort the baby or reverse the spell or whatever it is. That Lemon just thinks that this poor girl didn't understand how Babby formed.
Poor babe. Poor Louisa.
Yeah.
Louisa does not deserve any pity.
I still have a lot of loose ends, though. Like, I've still got a lot of loose ends. I've gotten to the point now. Should we talk about how to blame Fifi? This was like the number one goal that I had, and finally did complete it.
Before we blame Fifi, I want to read the content warning and see which of these we all experienced.
Sure.
This was funny. When we got to talking about this game in the first episode, Laura said, I am going to take this content warning as a list of challenges. This is my achievement list.
Yes.
Okay, let's see what achievements
And I
we
believe
got.
I have gotten through the I have gotten through the content warnings, but I'm curious where y'all are.
This
This game contains mild references to suicide,
Check.
Sure.
abortion,
Yep.
Check.
evangelism,
Check.
Not sure. Maybe. Yes?
gym class,
Not if I can avoid it.
medicinal drugs,
Yep.
Yes.
witchcraft.
Uh-huh.
I think so if we're talking about the voodoo doll.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Blood drinking.
Never.
It came up in conversation. I really want to know why.
Okay. Live burial.
Yes.
We've all discussed this already. Devil worship,
I think.
Debatable.
fornication,
Hell yeah.
blasphemy,
Every day.
Yes.
and secondary school education.
Much less of that than you would expect in a game set in a school.
Yes. I did go to Latin class.
Okay. Now we can turn the wheel and actually talk about like how to get through the game. But I just wanted to do a like, what else is in this game? Check in. Okay.
So
This is still one of my favorite like trigger warnings that I've ever seen.
It's great. It's wonderful. The big project of the game is to get away with it. And there are some sort of, I think, cheese ways to get away with it. For example, just run away and, if you leave first thing in the morning, you can go become a barmaid at the bar in the town and never be heard from again. And technically, you might have been expelled, but who cares? There's other stuff like that. But in order to get a proper get away with it ending, the one that I guess is the like no rivals ending, you need to pin it on someone, and the most obvious patsy is Fifi. Fifi is the
They make
person
you hate
who
Fifi
hates
fast.
you. Yes. And so the trouble is that although there are many ways that you might think you could point blame at Fifi, again and again, I wasn't, I'd try it, and the owl just wouldn't buy it because the owl
That was my
really has it in
experience as
for
well.
you. Yeah. So
Yeah.
she's constantly looking for ways to blame you, and she likes Fifi. And so she really has to be put in a position where Fifi is the only viable reason that something, that this has gone wrong.
This is
or
one of the
that
most
Louisa got
interesting
pushed.
changes from the first one because, you said a little bit about this in the first episode we covered it, but the more I played it, the more interesting this aspect was. In the first one, it's a very standard mystery structure where you have a check-in at the end with a detective who says, everybody give your evidence. And in this, there are multiple different kind of checkpoints that you have to clear, and there's no detective, there's only an authority, and she hates you. So this is a very different sort of structure.
Yeah. So really what it comes down to is if you want the owl to not blame you for Louisa getting pushed, there needs to be absolutely zero physical evidence pointing your way and absolutely zero people having seen you in the vicinity of the crime. There are multiple ways to do this. What worked for me was, so you've just pushed Louisa out the window. You have to clear the room in a hurry. So you have to, this is probably technically optional, but you have to grab, I don't think it actually is. You have to grab your filth book. That is, you'll have found by this point that your filth book, where you keep all of your dirty secrets that you've discovered, misshelved, stolen. It's on the shelf under the cover of Death is a Door. You have to grab the filth book. You have to grab your stick and throw it out the window after Louisa, where it falls and knocks her unconscious, or more unconscious, down at the bottom. And then you have to run, clear the room. You have to run back to your bedroom and climb out the window, because there's no other way in the early hours of the morning to get outside in the grounds. And if you wait until the school opens, it's too late. So you have to open the window to your bedroom, which you can do if you have your filth book, because you can hit the stuck latch with the book. Then climb out the window, grab your hockey stick, which is covered in blood, and you have to get rid of it, throw it back into your room through the open window. Then you don't have time to climb back
I never did that once.
Well, that's what worked for me.
Keep going. No, it's interesting.
Then you have to hide in the bushes, because there's not time to climb back through the window. You have to hide in the bushes because immediately the owl comes out and is looking around. She doesn't spot you or Fifi if you're hiding in the bushes. Or sorry, not Fifi, Louisa. Wait until she leaves, then climb back in through your window, and you're there before Matron comes and does the wake-up call. And then you have time. You can stash the stick under the bed or wherever, and then you have time to comb your hair and get the piece of glass out of it, and then you have time to make it to morning assembly in the chapel on time. And at that point, you have now removed any physical evidence. Nobody saw you. And then you have the entire rest of the day to blame Fifi. And for me, that meant you bullying the gardener into standing up for me at the prize giving, charming Miss Lemon into standing up for me at the prize giving. You could just go and talk to her in the library and tell her that the owl has it out for you, and she likes you already, and so you can charm her. And then during the prize-giving assembly, if you time it right, you can stick the piece of glass that you pulled out of your hair into Fifi's hair. And then finally, when it all goes south and they try to blame you, you can get away scot-free. That's what worked for me. There's a lot of other options,
95% of the way there. I had a few little twists. There definitely are. One of the things I love about the way this game is made is you have options. There are different ways you can do this, and you can achieve these goals. Like there's different ways that you can resolve like the stick situation and things like that. But my problem was, I believe, just not getting quite enough people on my side to vouch for me. So I was so close. I was really I tried 9 out of 10 of the things you just said, but I think if I
forgot one other that's kind of important. That you can go to, if Louisa is in. I think this might have been what pushed it over the edge for me too. While Louisa is in the San, at some point during the day, the owl visits there, and if you can show up at the same time, then you can just suggest to the owl very innocently that she check their pockets, check Louisa's pockets. And she will find in Louisa's pocket the badge from Fifi's uniform, and then you can imply to her that she grabbed it.
Which is their why. I never understood why she has Fifi's badge.
I don't know either. They have each other's badges, though.
Or Will has.
Right. That's right. Sorry. Will has Louisa's badge, and then she has Fifi's badge. I'm not 100% sure on why either.
I assumed it was some Access thing, but I never found it. I mean, the way I was getting through this is, so you can go down and shove the hockey stick into the bush further.
Oh, okay.
Also, you can. Bridget can't see.
Yeah.
So you can pretend to be Fifi.
This is what I would do. So this is what I would do. Yeah.
You can just put on a French accent and pretend to be Fifi, and then you can hang out in that room.
So I would stash.
that's so funny.
I was stashing the stick in behind. So one of the shelves.
But
the
you
one
have
that
to
has
find out
Poe
she
and
can't
Vern,
see first.
Has
Well, I did find that out.
no one checks it. So like in certain places you could hide the stick, it will be found. But if you hide it somewhere, it won't be found. And then when what is her name again? The nearly blind girl,
Bridget.
Yeah, she comes in and you just put on a fake French accent and say,
She's
au revoir.
like, Fifi was in the room.
So now she's standing up for you, but she is not enough. I think maybe
She's not enough.
Maybe the owl knows that she's not particularly a reliable witness. So her plus Gardner was not enough for me. Maybe there's something else I missed.
You have to get Lemon to actually believe that Fifi caused caused it either through the pregnancy window thing or through like the black dolphin. Like I planted I said like I found this in Louisa's pocket. Fifi gave it to her. What is it?
You can also tell her that Fifi was reading the book Death as a Door, which is about someone ending a pregnancy by hurting themselves somehow, throwing down some stairs or something like that. Yeah.
There's a lot of ways to get Lemon to believe Fifi did it. I some combo of all of the above got Lemon to completely stand up. And I think Lemon plus Will with an alibi for the morning and the glass in Fifi's hair was pretty consistently good for getting through. Mm-hmm. But I think Bridget was optional. I don't think I needed Bridget. I just needed to have somebody, either my roommate or Bridget, say like someone else was up there.
I definitely managed it without Bridget.
Yeah.
Speaking of the roommate, this is like one of the threads that I'm still following. Did you guys get a chance to talk to Natasha's dad?
No, but I talked a lot to Natasha.
So you get another layer of like reveal once you get the chance to talk to Natasha's dad, which is where you get like even yet another alternate version of the pushing scene where you push her out the window, where you know it's revealed that you're really even more of a bully than we thought.
Yes.
But there's also some great reveals there. So like Natasha has been telling you the whole time that, you know, she's actually, if you press her, she will admit that she's actually Anastasia
Romanov.
Anastasia, basically. Yeah.
Of course. And you get the whole backstory. She's got this like imperial jewel stuffed in her sock or whatever. This whole thing.
It's not just any imperial jewel. It's a magical crystal ball that you can stare into.
Yes. So all that stuff is great. But what's really great is that like she tells you like her dad is a reporter for the Times. So you want to talk to him because he's going to be at the prize giving, and presumably you can get a better ending if you can manipulate the press coverage and get him to believe what you want him to believe. I haven't really gotten that far yet with that, but you also can talk to him about his daughter, and he's like, do you know my Harriet? And
oh no!
She ain't Russian. She's just crazy.
Love this for her.
I do too. I love it too. She's so you can learn about her, and if you press her on this, it does not go well. So you don't really. I mean, maybe there's an alternate angle on it, but like I found it was much kinder and more funny to like let her continue to tell you that she's Anastasia Romanov rather than try to press her like your name's really Harriet, isn't it? You're not Russian at all.
There really seems to be an ending. I was trying to figure out a little more about how to get it, but there's a version of the ending of this game where our main character who talks to God and her roommate who believes she's Anastasia Romanoff run away together to have to be crazy together forever. So I got to find that ending at some point.
I know that's got to exist because I want that for them too.
There is I did manage to get to the point where they kind of where she kind of confessed her love.
Yes.
That was great, but I didn't manage to get much farther there.
Let's see, what else is there to talk about?
I was just going to say, hooray for the filth book, because when you read that thing for the first time every game, it just pops up for like minutes after. Like you were off doing, like, I've been halfway through a cellar run and it's still giving me dirt, reminding me, Richard can't see, Natasha's name is Harriet. Like, just spilling secrets on everybody.
Can I say my one of my two biggest complaints about the game is that I really wish that we had a in-game readable filth book. Like that, it seems like the game has its main sort of like progress tracking mechanic is the checklist at the end of each day with the 4 points on it, and also the like hint checklist where you can see 3 sort of suggested things to try. Right, both good features, but like, really, an expanded filth book would have been an enormous boon here. I'm almost, I'm imagining a sort of like back at the ship, in Outer Wilds, the like, the like solar system map in the Outer Wilds ship, where it's like fully responding to what you've learned across multiple playthroughs and sort of filling in a map of your knowledge and suggesting nodes and areas for things to follow up on further. Really, like, the filth book could have been that. It could have been a browsable compendium of all of those things and done a lot better job of pointing the way towards the things you haven't discovered yet. I'm hoping that comes later. I don't know whether this is something they're going to be like hacking on later, or what have you. But like, the filth book is a great mechanic, but it's like the like endless string of pop-ups and notifications.
And you're not watching it.
You're not watching it. It's not telling you anything. It's not useful. It's a cool mechanic to be able to like have an in-game reason to remember certain things across playthroughs, but like, make it better.
Could be more usable.
Yeah,
for sure.
Even just the notification, the fact that it does pop up and like has a little cancel button, and it's like, I really just want you to stop telling me all these things I already know. You can, the closest it has is that you can go to the chapel and just sit in the quiet and read your filth book at any time, and it just will remind you of things from it. And I actually ended up doing that a few times. It was kind of a useful thing to be able to do, but it wastes time, and so it's not really a great, and it doesn't do a great job of like pointing you towards areas that you might want to follow up on or learn more about. I'd like to see more of that. But man, these things are such a intricate clock, right? Maybe it would ruin it. I don't know. So what other things do we potentially need to follow up on? What are the hanging threads left over?
I still have a lot of questions about this game. I feel like I'm close to having the full picture. The first one, I went deep. I mean, like, I found stuff that I never expected, and I did at the end kind of, I thought I had really completed it, and I don't think I got to that point with this one. I guess I didn't find anywhere near enough endings. I did found some of the easy ones, but not the really hard ones. I really want to know why Louisa was drinking Susan's blood. Is that?
Oh, yeah. So
I haven't found this yet.
I don't believe she was actually drinking it, but she was using it to imply that she was menstruating.
Oh, that makes sense. I found the book. Okay,
So, but other people think she's a vampire. Like, people think they're vampires, but I believe she's actually using like Susan's blood.
That makes sense, but like
to fake a period, so she won't get kicked out of school.
Yes, but
because Fifi is blackmailing her.
That makes just enough sense.
Yes, it's just as complicated, but like.
But why not? Why that little cream puff's blood and not her own at that point?
I don't know, because she bully. I don't know. I don't know why she's not using her own blood.
Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense, but okay. That is honestly, Susan entirely is like a closed book to me. Like I I didn't find out much about her at all. And just like all of the characters have a dark side and a secret, and I haven't found it for Susan. And she's so obviously got something going on because she's too cute, right? So
She's a cute little girl. Gotta be weird.
That's a big.
I thought it was
area
something
for
to do
me.
with the blood thing. There's got to be some dirt on Susan. Maybe she's just the only good person in that school.
Unlikely. I can't imagine it. So let's see. What else is still dangling for me?
What to do with the I know a lot about the chaplain, but there's got to be something else there. Like,
Yeah.
I know Fifi's visiting the chaplain. I know the chaplain is a pedophile and drugs girls.
How do you know Fifi's visiting the chaplain?
Because
She goes down there with the key, right?
she goes down there with the key.
How do you
and
get
then
the key from her?
accused
I
her
kept
of
trying to like get
seeing
it out
the
of her
chaplain.
shoe, and it didn't work.
I've seen her coming out of that. That's right. I forgot about that.
So you can get it out of her shoe by like, you know how weirdly during the morning chapel they let you go on the floor?
Yeah, I tried that. I tried that a bunch of times. I must have done it wrong.
And you can get her shoe off entirely and take her key. And then you get kicked out to the office, but you have the key.
Okay. Was there any advantage to getting the key and going down there rather than getting in through the like hole in the wall of the chapel?
No, just speed.
Okay.
But for me, it was mostly like I was able to find out that Susan was definitely visiting the chapel, Glenn, but I couldn't find anything.
Fifi was visiting.
Sorry,
the chaplain.
Fifi.
Yeah. Okay.
That Fifi was visiting. Yes. Again, don't know much about Susan, but Fifi was visiting the chaplain, and I don't know anything else about why, other than like just talking to him. Like,
Are you sure she was visiting the chaplain and it wasn't that she just went down there to get the Black Dolphin pages?
I accused her of. I talked to her and I said something like, "You're visiting the chaplain," and she was like, "How do you know?" But it was something like that. Like she implied, like she said something that implied that I was right, but she wasn't going to tell me outright. So I needed more evidence. I'm not sure if I could get down into the cellar and into the chaplain's office before she shows up. I haven't been able to do that yet. I keep trying to start runs and getting to the chaplain's office before she gets there, but I haven't been speedy enough, mostly because I make wrong turns.
It's tricky. It's kind of unnecessarily tricky. I kind of wish there was like, there's a lot of little areas in this game where I feel like it would be nice if there was more of a like, I figured this out, let me just do the thing button. You can get like it needs more of a Galerius is what I'm saying. Like, we've got a little bit of a like just hold the shift key or whatever to make the same choices again thing, but it's not reliable enough to just be like, I need to my little like script of things to do at the beginning of the day in order to get a playthrough where I am blameless by 8 a.m. It was required more than just holding down a key, and I really kind of wished that like the game would just say like, hey, you figured out a great path to get to chapel on time without being seen. Do you want to just do that again and hit yes? Like, I know that that like locks you out of some branching that might be useful later and might end up with people like not getting comfortable with one of those options. So I can understand some of the game design reasons why they may not want to offer something like that, but I would like a way to like, I don't know how you would execute on this exactly, but I would like a way to like program things, like create a macro for whatever. And Galerius is the dude for this. It's like the number one, is the perfect example of how to do this. I wish that this game had a Galerius.
Or just
Nat
jump to
could have
10,
been the
or-
perfect Galerius for this game.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you
don't
got back
talk
to your
chapel.
room and she could have you.
You're right. Nat,
You could bring her in on it, and
Yeah.
For folks who maybe not have listened to the episode about the Forbidden.
the Forbidden City. Galerius was the first guy you saw when you went into the Forbidden City. He was this friendly bald farmer, and this was also a time loop game. And when you would see him, you could just say, "Hey, Galerius, you don't know me, but I know you. I need you to do these 15 different things for me right away. No questions. I'll explain later." And
he would run, baby.
yeah, that was so helpful. And we have ever since then awarded some video game character, or in some cases, video game feature, Best Galerius in the short game annual superlatives. So
yeah. And, it was a little bit silly, that you could walk up to this stranger and ask them to do a bunch of very deliberate things for you. But it was at least an in-game, in-world thing that could happen. You could go follow him around and watch him do all of those things for you in the order that you asked him to do it.
And it wasn't like it works in the world because, it's if some guy runs up to you and like clearly knows you on a level that seems impossible and asks you to do a couple of random things, maybe you just do it. Some characters would. Thanks, Galerius.
Yeah, thank you, Galerius. And this game badly needed a Galerius. Maybe not exactly that, but like something along those lines. In order to let you, let's see.
The other thing down in the cellar is the loose brick in the wall. I
think you I think you probably nailed it. What's behind there, but like we got to figure out how to get that open.
Yeah, I think the Discord seems to think like maybe you have to be totally evil when you go to that wall, and I don't know if I ever had that combination.
Why would that make a difference? I kept feeling like there's got to be like a crowbar or something somewhere in the school.
Yeah.
I think it might be a reference to Pink Floyd.
Yes.
Definitely that. Sure. Why not?
It is a British game.
Yeah, I mean it's a British game about school. We don't need no education.
Yes.
We never see them eat their meat in this game.
We don't.
How could they have any pudding?
Oh, I guess since now we're at the like total spoiler questions,
Sure.
I will explain how to reset your evil score to 0.
Cool. Please.
So did y'all ever read the compasses?
I did.
You mean the compass in the math teacher's
geometry
office?
teacher's wall?
Yes, I did read it, and I got the translation.
And I had a conversation
from
with her about
Miss
it,
Lemon.
where I got Miss Iyer to kind of explain to me that it was related to trapping demons or something, summoning demons.
To trapping demons.
Okay, I didn't get that. Okay.
So you can have after you read the compasses, and then you go to the Latin teacher and get them translated. I almost said decrypted, just translated. They're not in code, they're just Latin. Then you can go back to the geometry teacher and have a conversation, because she was in Africa with the head as well. And she will explain that you can trap a demon in a circle of chalk and salt. And you go to the owl, the owl that is full of cocaine, presumably. You knock it to the floor while you were talking to the owl. You may draw a circle around it in the cocaine, trapping it and making him completely furious, and he will remember this and will curse your name, but you will be back to being purely innocent and good. The owl is not happy about what you did to it, but it will reset you to 0. So you can always reset yourself back. But it does take a lot of back and forth to do so. And I just happened to try that again, literally the first time I met the owl. I was like, ooh, let's see what happens. So I wanted to save it towards the end, because I do think you require a lot of piecing together to get to that point.
Yeah, as opposed to just doing a lot of cocaine and then swearing, saying "Hail Satan" and getting a bunch of evil points, which is much more fun. And you should.
I guess
do that
that's
instead.
Interesting. Maybe the owl is a bit of a Galerius here, because it
You can
allows you
completely reset
to
your score.
take your evil all the way up or all the way down,
Yes.
which is a very useful mechanical twist for something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is interesting because, like, I obviously we were like increasing the evil meter, and it does open some new evil options, which is cool. But I don't think, apart from like what you were just implying, that you need to have a white and blameless soul in order to have like the proper good end game run, which I was not aware of, and is an interesting twist, I think.
Again, I'm not sure about that. That's just the implication from the Discord. If they're misleading
Maybe.
I mean, I don't think it's them. I think it's me. I probably misread something, but I have no reason to believe that's not the way to get to the head girl.
Yeah, I'm very eager to try to figure that out. And listeners, if you know how to become head girl, we want to hear from you, because again, this game does not have a lot of guides content out there. That did come pretty quickly with the overwhelming popularity of Overboard, which came out, at a perfect time and really hit. I think this game, I hope it's done well for them. I hope they make 10 more of these. But I haven't been hearing about it quite as much as I did with Overboard at that time. So, and there's way less content about the game online, and there's no comprehensive guide that I have found, even on like the Steam guide section or anything like that. There's a bunch of people asking questions and getting answers, but no like single comprehensive
resource. It's just the knockout
resource.
guide.
Yeah. So, if you know, join us. We are happy to chat with each other on our Discord. Anything for us to say before we start wrapping up? I just looked at the time, and hey, we're at an hour already just talking about spoilers about this one game. And this is the second episode we've done about it. I love this game, guys. I love it. Anything last stuff you want to hit before we start wrapping up?
I feel like there's still a lot to discover in this one.
Yeah.
It still counts as short, but I don't think 100%ing is required. But I think I'm going to ease up on the runs of like, I might do 1 or 2 runs at a time instead of what I've been doing, which is really hammering and really trying to be like, this run I'm going to go explore this plot. I'm being very tactical because I want to try to explore content. I'm looking forward to a more leisurely pace. I think that's what this game wants me to do.
I think so.
I've been max minning a bit, and I'm looking forward to a more chill version.
I've been taking more notes as I played through it, just, writing more things down, writing down what, threads and things to try. And when something works, I've been trying to write out a specific order of operations for how I got there. And that's been helping. So I think I'll probably do the same. I'll probably poke at this some more over the next few months and see, in between things as I get time for it. But also, to be perfectly honest, I think I've had enough of a complete experience with this game now where I feel comfortable, like, if a great guide comes out that hits here's the 3 things that you really want to do that you haven't, I'll probably just read it and do those things and see the great writing. And, I'll probably be satisfied with my experience there too. So we'll see how this ends up.
That's how I was right before. On the first game, I found the like weird, sinister dolphin death ending. And that was like a real payoff for like sticking with it. So I'm definitely going to be sticking with this one a little bit longer. I want to first just say that this kind of game must be absolutely insane to make. It takes a specific, very complicated set of tools. It takes a twisted mind, and it takes just fiendish complexity to put something like this together. We've said before we hope there are a lot of imitators. I may just give up on that. I just hope that there's a third Overboard game, whatever that might look like. Maybe it's about Veronica's long lost daughter or twin sister. Or
Veronica as an old lady. I just want to see Veronica
as an old lady. Veronica as a baby. I don't know.
Bring her back again, man. I would see her murder 100 more people.
If you like this game and things like it, John Ingold has some exquisite writing on the modeling behind this kind of thing, because there are secrets that you need to know. Like, who knows it and who believes what. Like, there are things that truly happened, things, and then who knows about them and what do people think actually happened. And all of those are treated as slightly different versions of the model. And the structure is very intelligent to do that very economically, so that you can have a lot of different perceptions on a true event without it bothering, without having thousands and thousands of different events. It's all different flavors and different adjectives. Really, really smart stuff. I used it a little bit at work to talk about like how you can perceive the same thing. in different models. I used it for IRS Direct file, but RIP. To talk about how like people's perception of a thing being done on the back end would differ. So thank you, John, for making me sound smart at work. But it's really good stuff. And John's writing on how you model narrative, dialogue, and choice is some of the best I've seen, because he's really generous with sharing how his stuff is structured. So even if they don't make clones of this, I hope people are seeing like that you can do a lot of complexity pretty simply and economically if you set it up from the start. Because designing this backwards does not work at all.
No. Yeah, I mean, easy enough for John Ingold to like show his magician's secrets when behind them is just more magician's secrets that are unduplicatable by anyone. Like I don't think
you can't duplicate the writing, so you might as well share how to do the structure.
Yeah, you could know everything there is to know about how this game was put together and still never be able to duplicate it. Like it's insane. And that's why we haven't seen all 100 Overboard clones, and I wish we did, but I think we'll have to start with John Ingold clones first and then work from there. And failing that, John, make more of these, please. So listeners, you can find our show on the internet at shortgame.fm. That's the website with all the links and buttons to get all the information you need about the show. Things that you can find there that we would love for you to go and click on. Did you know many podcast platforms allow you to leave reviews, ratings, and other feedback, comments, for example, on Spotify? That's a thing. Go and do those things on your podcast app of choice. All of them have some way to directly interact with the show. And if you do that, that helps us get visibility on podcast platforms. We really appreciate it. And it's something you can do in a minute or two for free. And if you do that, we really appreciate you.
We see all of them. We share them with each other. We're like, oh, look at this great review.
We do. And when people leave a funny review, we screenshot it, we share it amongst ourselves. We all enjoy them. So we really, those are not going into the void. That's a great way to talk directly to us in a way that you can guarantee we're not going to talk back if that's what you want. So do that, please. But also you can go there to find links to our Patreon, patreon.com/theshortgame, which is where you can support the show. Every level of support gives you access to our Discord community. And we do still email or mail out stickers if you support at a higher level. So you can go there and find links to do the support thing for the show. If you join our Discord community, we love to have you. It's a great place to come and chat about short games. It's a good community for just chit-chatting about what's happening in the gaming world generally. It's not a crazy busy Discord where you'll feel like an anonymous lump on the wall. It's a great place to hang out, and there's always something to talk about, especially if you want to talk to us, because we're in there all day. So join us there. It's a great place also to drop suggestions for games that you think would be a good fit for the show, whether they're something you've played or something that's upcoming in the next year that you think we ought to have our eyes on. That's super appreciated. Let's see. Thanks very much for all of that. And shortgame.fm. I'm Reagan Kelly. You can find my social links and so on shortgame.fm as well.
I'm on there too, as is Shane.
Yep.
We centralized our comms, and we always forget it because we used to do individual titles.
Yeah, we used to
Reagan sent it to us beautifully.
I used to read out 2 or 3 different social @s on here. No need
but
anymore.
Now we're all
so much
centralized.
Easier.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks once again for joining us on this episode of The Short Game.